and welcome to my channel. Today is day 10 of my 2021 advent calendar from Crafter's Companion, and behind today's door is this lovely snowflake embossing folder, and I have a bunch of these little squares that were left over from the advent calendar bag that I made. I'll link to that if you haven't checked that out, but I've got a ton of them because I cut out the doors of the advent calendar, so to be exact I have 24 of these little squares. But I thought pearlescent paper embosses really beautifully, so because they are in that sort of snow white pearlescent color, I thought the snowflakes would look really nice. So I've just placed them strategically so that I can get the two larger snowflakes, and I'm going to be using this Stampin' Die set, also from Crafter's Companion. I'm using it for the Merry Christmas sentiment, die cut sentiment, and I'm going to add a matte layer of gold pearlescent cardstock. And the reason why I chose gold against that kind of snow white is because Crafter's Companion, in their Centura Pearl line, they have a white with gold and a white with silver in their pearlescent or their luxury Centura Pearl cardstock, and I have them both, but the one that I'm using here has that hint of gold, and you can almost pick it up on camera too, that there's like a little tint of gold. It's really noticeable when you compare it to the hint of silver. And what I'm doing is I have the two snowflake designs, and I'm gonna pattern them like this and just rotate them so that they are diagonal. But in the center there, I don't know if you can see, but in the center, each of the corners has sort of clipped, part of the design of the snowflake that was sort of kitty corner to it on the embossing folder. So I'm pushing all of that towards the center because I figure it's going to be easy for me to cover that up with something else in the middle, which in my case I end up using my sentiment to cover that up. So you won't even see that there are partial snowflake embossed pattern in the center. We're going to cover all of that up. So it'll just feel as though we have 4 panels of these different snowflake patterns. And I have never thought to use, these smaller embossing folders in this way, but because I had all of these little scraps, it occurred to me to try it, and I really like how it turned out, especially since on this particular embossing folder you do get the 4 snowflake designs. So if you're using some scraps up, you could really just do a partial embossing, I suppose, and get just those portions, or those the one specific snowflake that you're going for. So you don't necessarily have to even use the full embossing folder. I mean, as small as it is, it's only a 2x2 embossing folder, but I kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone here by using up some of these scraps, and as well, finding a different and unique way of using this embossing folder. And I'm always looking for different ways of using the craft supplies in my stash, just to try to get the most out of them. So I'm tiling them up here just right in the center of my card, and I usually eyeball this sort of thing, but I did pull out my T-ruler, and I am trying to really get this perfectly centered and perfectly spaced. I think for this design with the tiling, I really wanted to get those two line up just right so that the spacing looks correct. And I'm usually not that picky about being that precise when I line things up. Sometimes it's just, good enough, because small shifts here and there are not likely to be that perceptible or noticeable. So but I think in this case, since I am trying to get this tile effect, that if it were to be a little bit off, I think you would probably pick it up. So here's where I'm going to place my sentiment. And again, usually I don't go dead center with my design elements. I try to follow that rule of thirds where, you want to put your focal image, on a third, sort of 1/3 of your full frame, whether it's like the bottom third or the left or the right third. However, we're going with such a centralized design, like those tiles are centered, and so I think in this case it'll work out perfectly well to center my sentiment, and then I can cover up those partial snowflakes that were in those corners as well. So that worked out well too. So I would just suggest, if you're doing something similar like this and you're doing sort of a partial embossing, and there are elements that have embossed that you want to cover up, maybe think first about where you're going to place things and how you'll best be able to cover them up, because I think that there's lots of different configurations that I could have gone with and still been able to cover up those little corners. And so I'm going to pull out my Love from Lizzie's pinstripe stickers. I love these. They hopefully you were able to catch the sale that back in November around Black Friday. There was the free shipping sale if you bought enough single sheets of these, not these specific pinstripe peel-offs, but any peel-offs, and she does have a good variety of them. But you did have to buy 40 of them, which I did because she's always releasing new colors. It's been a couple of years since the last time I purchased during one of these sale events where she offers free shipping, and because she does ship out of the UK and it's rather expensive to get things shipped to the US from there, it's worth it for me to just wait for these sale events that she offers every once in a while. I think she only does them once a year, if that. And so it's a good time for me to just get all of the new colors, restock on the ones that I'm running low on. And you can see it's a nice finishing touch. And I love using it where I'm butting up, 2 different colored cardstocks, or in this case, edging a cardstock. So I hope that you like my card today, and come back tomorrow to see what's behind day number 11. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.